Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's episode, work continues on the 32.5 window coupe. Last week we were working on the windshield area and the frame. This week we're going to move to the back and we're going to be working on the deck lid. We're going to try and use an original deck lid that was provided with the car. This deck lid has had some repairs done to it, which hopefully I can undo. Where the latch mechanism was, it's been moved up. If you see here on our 32 Roadster, the hole is here. For whatever reason, whoever owned this, they moved it up further, and they've got some nasty patches here that have to be undone. Also on the inside, again, for whatever reason, they cut that section away and they've welded something on it. I think I can repair this. I'm going to use the 32 Roadster deck lid here as a pattern. There's another repair here that has to be undone and straightened out. But the first step actually is to basically get the deck lid off of, or separate the two, the inner and the outer deck lid. Looks like one side actually might come off easily, the top and the bottom reasonably so, but they've also brazed all this here. I'm gonna have to try and separate that, and I may have to make a new edge or something. But basically, I'm gonna start with taking the two of them apart, seeing if I can make the repairs to inner and outer, and then ultimately put them back together again. So here we have it. I'm in the process of trying to remove the outer deck lid skin from the inner deck lid skin. It's difficult, I guess, to say the least. Need special tools. Have to kind of improvise a few things. One of the things I did, I took a pair of pliers. If I can show them there, well, that's far enough away. I modified them. You can see it's like I'm not sure what they're called. They're end cutters, I guess. So I was able to take this and was able to get it up underneath the bent over skin and then tip it up this way. So that worked on the side here. It's not too pretty right now, but the intent is to try and roll that lip off. And then across the back here, I had a cat's paw. Been messing around with a couple different things on how to lift it up. Don't have the camera lady here, so not sure if I can demonstrate, but essentially I took the cat's paw and I modified this one edge here, so it turned it into basically like a can opener. And I'm actually able to work my way along here. And it's kind of hard one-handed, but there it goes. There it goes there. And basically pry open that first part of the lip to free it up, and then I can get underneath it and go a little further. I still don't know yet whether or not I'm going to be able to use the outer deck lid skin, whether I can make repairs to it, but until I get it off and take a good look at it, I'm really not going to know for sure. So going to carry on with all these different ways of taking the rolled edges off. I know how to put them on. I've done it many times, but this is actually the first time I've actually had to actually take a skin off of either a deck lid or a door. Over on this side, like I probably, not sure if I repeated myself, but you can see here, it's all brazed. There's not going to be any simple way of getting that off, but it's actually just to grind it off, and hopefully there's something underneath that I can use. So here is the inner deck lid. I removed it from the outer deck lid. It's sitting on the back of the coupe right now. Here is some of the mess that has to be cleaned up on the bottom around where the latch mechanism goes. Up top here as well, where the support mechanism goes, there's a big dent and there's some damage here. Gonna see what we can do to fix that. Also, for some reason or other, there's a crease that goes straight along here. Not sure how that happened. Got a look at that. And then likewise down here. Likewise down here. Not used to filming here without the camera ladies, but we're going to do our best. So it fits in there. First step, I think, is to try and fix the inner deck lid. Not sure if we're going to use the outer deck lid or not. We do have the luxury of having another one. It's over at a friend's place. They were going to louver it, but there's a lot of damage here on this deck lid. Basically the sides would have to be replaced. That large section down there here has to be replaced. Possible to do it. It's like anything, but should we do it? I guess, given the fact that we do have another deck lid. Anyways, I'm going to work on the inner deck lid, see where we get with that, and then go from there. So I'm working on the inner deck lid. One of the first things I did, I used the hammer and dolly to knock out some of the creases here. I've got a lot of the dents out. Not all there, but to the point now where I can start doing some reconstruction. The one area of the biggest concern I had was this lip here where there's 2 or 3 pieces brazed on. I kind of know that this lip here is going to have to be replaced, and as well this. So my first thought is basically get the outside of this deck lid the right shape and then start working on the inner bits. So what I did, I started making a flange. Now I have to make another one of these flanges for the other side, so I'll do a time lapse of me making it. But essentially I made, took a piece of 18 gauge sheet metal, it's 1 inch by 7/8, bent it on the brake, and then I went over to the shrinker and stretcher. And initially what I tried to do was actually make it the shape of this deck lid of what I was replacing. So that was what I started to do. So right there. However, that isn't what I should do. The reason being is that there's so much distortion on this edge from the damage in that and the heavy welding with the brazing in that it's not the right shape. And it's not the right shape because when I made this piece, I went over here and I did a sanity check on the 5 window, and this wasn't the right shape of this deck. I've since fixed it. I've made this, basically went back to the shrinker and stretcher and shaped it so that it would fit here. And then, just to be sure that I wasn't, the body wasn't wrong, since the deck lid on a 32 Roadster is actually the same as what it is on a 5 window, I took the piece and I put it up against this deck lid, and it's pretty much the right shape. I might have to tweak it a little bit, but I'm more than likely what I'm going to do, try and keep it to this shape. But at the end of the day, what really counts is that this deck lid should fit this deck lid opening with the right amount of gap all the way around. So I'm going to play with that a little bit more until I'm probably 99 or 95% of the way to the right shape. Once I've got that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this edge with this piece. More than likely, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. So I'll make a second one of these. I'll do a time lapse of me shrinking and stretching it on how basically you get that form. You start it with a straight piece and just work your way back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you get it to the right shape. So follow along. I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to try and save this inner deck lid. So I have the edge welded on the side of the inner deck lid now with it kind of ground off, which now gives me the shape. I checked that shape off of a brand new deck lid that just arrived the other day. Well, I got back from a friend the other day. This is a reproduction deck lid, so the shape should be correct. So what I've done, I've taken the inner deck lid over here and I've put it up against the shape of the edge of this deck lid to make sure that I've got the right shape, and we're good so far. Also, I've taken the deck lid and I've fit it back into the hole in the back of the coupe just to make sure we're still kind of close to straight as what we can. I mean, there's still a lot more repairs we have left to do here. The next step was to remove this bronze welded major dent out. My intention here is actually to replace that with a piece of 18 gauge. Right here on the reveal, there's a little break in it, this little indentation here. I'm going to try cleaning that up and welding it up without making a new piece in here. So right now I'll just go over, I'll get a piece of 18 gauge, try and bend it up, get it to the right shape, weld it in, and then try and fix this piece up. So that's next. Here is the patch all welded and dressed in place, and then I also fixed up this little break that was in the reveal here, I guess in the bead line or whatever you want to call it, reinforcing rib. I did weld that up. I welded it from both sides and I dressed it out. The other thing I did, I started using the flapper wheel and I was working the metal down, just taking the paint off, and what happens then is that, well, you can see some of the dents here, so it kind of reveals exactly where the dents are, and then I was dolling them out, so I'll keep on working my way across here. Oh, actually, got to show you here. This is my sanity check with all that welding. Camera lady can go on the other side of this, and she'll be able to see that the inner deck skin should line up with the outer deck skin, so we still have the right shape even after doing all the welding. So you got to keep checking that. If it didn't, one thing I could have done was gone back to the shrinker stretcher and try to tweak this edge to kind of change the shape, but where this matches that right now, I'm going to leave it alone. So there's still lots more to do on this other edge here. I'm not sure yet if I have to actually do the extreme repair like I did on this one, so not sure yet whether I'll be able to show you next week me making that piece. It actually is quite sound. There's a couple breaks into it that this might require some, cutting the old welds out and cleaning up like little spots onto it. And then of course there's this massive patch here I have to fix along with a couple of dents. So anyways, didn't get as far as we wanted to this week because I still have a daytime job. And hopefully soon, well actually in the next couple of weeks, I should be retiring from my daytime job, being able to work a little bit more on these projects. And also this past week, we finally had a break in the weather, so I was actually able to move about split in most cases, and move about 3 cords of wood into the woodshed to keep this shop warm for the winter. The other thing, we were supposed to get a new project come in actually 2 new projects arrive this week. Looks like they're going to be arriving on Friday of this week, so tune in next week and you'll see the new projects, and hopefully we'll get some more work done on this inner deck lid. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe, and of course send your comments, and everybody have a great week. Take care.